This is the plaintiff, Keisha Smith. She says the defendant, her one-time friend, owes her big time for a trip they'd planned on going on together to St. Martin. She doesn't understand why her former friend is acting so crazy, but hey, money is money, and she wants the $5,000 she's owed, and she wants it now. This is the defendant, Octavia Locke. She says she paid for the trip on her credit card, and the plaintiff and two other women were supposed to pay her back in monthly installments. The plaintiff had a problem paying the interest rate the credit card charges. She's the one who's acting like a little baby, and if anyone's owed money today, it's certainly not the plaintiff. She's accused of tripping up a friend. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for the balance of the trip and pain and suffering.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Keisha Smith, you are suing Octavia Locke, your former friend, for $5,000 on money you say is owed to you from this trip, as well as pain and suffering. You are counterclaiming against her of money you say is owed to you for this trip, as well as pain and suffering. Let's hear it, ladies. Let's start with you.
Octavia and I had a mutual agreement to have a barbecue in May. At the end of that barbecue, she became disgruntled because she felt like I didn't return the gestures that she was giving towards me.
Meaning what?
Sexual gestures, how she liked me, how she felt for me personally. She felt that I still was caught up on my ex.
That you what?
That I was still showing feelings towards my ex.
Did you two date?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Now, hold on one second and rewind. Before that, had the two of you planned to take a trip with another person?
Correct.
Okay. How many people were going on this trip?
Over 50.
Over 50. Okay,
yes.
So there's a lot of people going. All right. And at this point in time, had she paid for any portion of the trip for you?
Yes.
Okay, so then back up and tell me the story from the beginning. You guys are going on a trip. Some money became due that you weren't able to fund, and she fronted it for you?
For the original of the trip, we all made a deposit for the trip to St. Martin.
And how much what was the deposit?
My deposit initially was $300.
Okay, and then what happens?
And then I was informed later that the balance of the trip, they had moved the date up. And then upon learning what the due date was, Octavia had took it upon herself to pay the difference, the balance.
Wait, did she ask you before she did that?
No, she didn't, and she informed me. She sent me a text.
So she tells you, I just went ahead and pay it, you pay me.
Correct.
All right, so now you two decide to hold a barbecue together.
Correct.
You have the barbecue together. According to you, and I'll hear your side in a moment, she's making advances at you that you are not returning, so she's now angry, and what happens?
So after the barbecue, me and Octavia got into a heated discussion about the events that took place during the barbecue.
What did she say to you?
She felt that she spent all of this time cooking and slaving over a hot stove only for me to be still pining and crying over my ex-girlfriend. I decided
but what about that made you think she was barking up your tree? Maybe she just thought that you were foolish.
Because she sent me text messages saying that she loves me more than I know, and how my ex-girlfriend didn't deserve me, and how she could do so much for me.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I decided to withdraw myself from her, and I reached out to the people in which we was paying the trip, and I said that we needed to separate rooms, because initially we were sharing rooms.
Right.
At that time in which the people informed her that I had paid to separate rooms, she started to become irate.
So wait, hold on. So first, you don't want any more misunderstandings, so you pay to separate the room. That was how much?
$250.
$250, okay. And then after that, what did she do?
She sent me a text message telling me to not allow mutual friends or other people to come in between our friendship, and how she really loved me, and I didn't understand. And then after that, 3 weeks later, she sends me a text, FYI, of a balance that she came up with in her head on which I should pay her. I sent her
Meaning what? What did she say you had to pay her?
She came up with a fee, $1,200 and something, and then she said $68 $60 or something like that.
Was interest.
Was her interest.
And you had never discussed interest with her?
Never discussed interest with her.
And so what was she telling you? That was the interest on the credit card?
She said that was her interest on her credit card. I asked her to send me a copy of the receipt. I said that wasn't part of the deal, but if you send me a copy of the receipt so I can see for myself what fees that you're claiming that I owe you, then I will give you the money.
Okay.
She started going off saying that no, it was her personal private business and that she would not send me a copy of the receipt. We didn't speak again for a few weeks. July 1st came.
And the trip is scheduled for when?
Around July 18th or 20th.
Okay, between the dates, did you ever pay anything towards the balance that you owed that she fronted you?
Correct.
How much?
I had given her $500.
Okay. And so now it's July 1st, and what happened?
I'll text her to tell her that I was sending her the remaining part of the money for the trip because we were leaving in July.
And how much was the remaining part?
At that time, it was $640 something.
Okay, and so you text her to say
that I have the money. I was putting it in the mail for her so she would receive it.
Okay.
The next day.
And you hear from her.
She texts me back. It's too late. I already canceled your trip. I said, God don't like ugly. I said, but it's cool. I then called the organizing them and asked them how come I wasn't informed that my trip was canceled. They informed me that Octavia had not canceled the trip, nor did they hear any information from Octavia. At that point, several people from the trip that I haven't met before and several mutual friends between us started reaching out to Octavia, trying to find out what happened and why won't she accept the money from me. She would then tell people, I'll accept it. So I go around town, getting up the money to give to her, to other people. When they would go to meet her, Octavia would then decline. She did this on 4 or 5 different occasions.
What's going on?
Good morning, Judge, Yana. Whew, this is new to me.
Okay.
However, I lost my mother on January 12th. 59 days later, I lost my dad. At that point, I just needed a vacation. I had never been on vacation before, and I just wanted to be with my friends. You know, family.
How long have you two known each other?
Probably about 2.5 years, but every time the encounters that I would have with her, it was always the group of women, and she's over there, rah, 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 and they're like, you know, and I'm like, why nobody supporting her? Why? And I watched it for like 2 years.
They're like what?
They're like, you know, she's crazy. She always has issues. She always got to go over the top, so forth and so on. So in that, I wanted to get to know her because I wanted to know, for one, I'm a woman's motivational speaker. So I support women in any way. You're a beautiful woman. So by me telling you you're beautiful is flirting with you, I think not. I just got out of a 5-year relationship. So, flirtatious, I've always tried to compliment her and let her know she was beautiful than what she was accepting. In any event, that's the case with that. Never thought about crossing boundaries. So in any event, when I got back, March, I was like, I need to get away. I've never been away. I've always been raising kids.
So everybody decides to take this trip. Lots of people are going on it. So you end up, at some point, she can't come up with the cash fast enough, so she's going to withdraw. So you very nicely offer to take care of it, and you end up taking care of it.
No, ma'am. Here's the text. Good morning. Good morning, lady. I really need to secure this trip, May 11th. I will give you half the money the end of this month and the balance the end of June. If that doesn't work for you, please let me know so I can work something out. It's a whole bunch of text messages.
Hold on. Do you have that inside your phone?
Yes.
Can you get it for me inside your phone?
Sure.
So I can see who sent that because I don't know who sent that.
Okay.
And I need to see it in the phone. Did you send this text?
Yes, I sent the text.
Okay, because that's kind of not the way you told the story. The way you told the story was she foisted it upon you because she's interested in you. And then it turns out that on May 11th, you're texting her saying, I really need to secure the trip. I will give you half the money the end of the... So it sounds like there was a plan that you were borrowing the money from her. So what goes wrong during June that you won't accept the money?
Okay, so what happened was all of these different people that I don't know are calling me and coming to me.
They're not coming to you until afterwards. They're coming to you when you tell her, I am not going to take your money.
Oh, because I had to remind her. It was June the 30th, and I said to her, I called and left I don't know if I left a voicemail, but I called to inform her, Keisha, it's June 30th. We have a long weekend, and if you don't want to pay the fees for June, then you're not going to want to pay the new fee for July. So she sends me a text message and I have it improved. I don't need reminders. You need reminders if it's already June 30th, and according to your text, you said that you would pay me by the end of June.
So she sends you a text saying, I don't need reminders, and what?
And her last remark to me was, God don't like ugly. Excuse my French. That's when I blocked her because I didn't want to go back and forth. So at that point, I blocked her.
So did you cancel it?
No, I couldn't cancel it.
You told her, though, that you canceled it.
I tried to. I submitted to.
Okay, that is a letter from whom?
MCU, my bank, my credit card. What happened was I told a mutual friend.
This is what she claims, and I want to know if this is true or not, that she sent other people with the money, and you had said, okay, I'll accept the money, and then when the people show up at your house, you're like, no, she doesn't. If she's not here to give the money, I don't want.
Only one person showed up at my house.
With money?
No, and that was the day before the trip. At that point, I had already submitted that, Ms. Marilyn.
Right, so you think that the trip is canceled.
Right. So at that point,
but see, hold on. This is disputing the credit card. How are you going to dispute the credit card? You have to try to cancel with the people who organized the trip. Because disputing the credit card, the only way to do that is to say it's a fraud. Did you say it was a fraud?
No, I just disputed.
How do you know what she said?
I just disputed
How do you know?
it.
You're nodding, but how do you know what she said?
It's the people who gave the trip, they gave you a notarized letter to the information that they received from her bank.
Why would they be able to talk to her bank?
Because the money was put into their account.
All right, hold on a second. This is an affidavit from the organizer?
Yes.
According to this individual, she says in an effort to resolve everything, because all this dispute was coming up, that just days before the departure, because you guys couldn't work it out, she agreed to give you the balance and that you assured her that you'd accept the money and not reverse the charges. She left her home after 10 at night, drove to your home with another person, and upon entering, you immediately began to assassinate Miss Smith's character. And once you were done, you said to them, I'm not accepting money from you guys. I've already reversed the charges. I mean, it sounds pretty vindictive.
Okay, and it does sound pretty vindictive,
yeah.
But I had put in to reverse the charges, but that takes weeks. I don't know this response to that.
I want to see all you have to do, you do know that you have the power to say, forget about reversing it and just moving on.
Okay,
the woman was going to be in another room. She wasn't going to be in your room.
Right, but it wasn't so much as that. It was too many people.
Sounds vindictive. Can I ask you a question? What did you pay? I need to see proof of what you had to pay out so that you can prove what you lost. You say...
It's on the back of that letter.
You mean the last page?
Yes, they broke it down.
Okay, hold on. Ms. Smith ended up paying her trip balance at the last minute since you always maintained that you had reversed the charges. So how much did they charge you? Here's a breakdown of her payments. $300 initial payment, $250 to a single room, $760 towards the balance of her trip, $250 end balance of her trip, $25 canceled trip. What does all that mean?
They said the cancel was because while she was doing her dispute with the bank, they charged the company cancellation fee.
And you had to pay them that?
They charged me it.
All right, and the end balance of her trip, what's that?
All of the money altogether that I ended up paying towards the trip in order to go.
Where's the rest of the money that you should be paying?
The rest of the money...
In other words, the $500...
Correct.
...did end up going towards your trip?
No, it did not.
Okay, but... Where's your credit card bill?
Yes, it is.
Can I see the credit card bills up to today to make sure it didn't get reversed?
Yes, ma'am. You can from here, from May 17th, the day I made the payment, all the way up until yesterday is here.
Okay, let me see.
Where it did not go back in the MCU sent me that thing. So where is my $1,100?
Wait. MCU was never used on this thing. You used PayPal directly from your bank account. The statement
it's MCU though. It's MCU.
That's your bank account.
That's the bank and
not
credit
the credit card. Okay.
That's bank and credit.
Bank and credit card.
Yes, I have a bank card and a credit
hold
card.
on. What's the day you make it?
5/17, the next day, right there.
Hold on.
11/74.
Okay. So the question is, does any of that ever get put back?
They told me no.
I know they told you no. I'm going to see if you actually got it, because I got to know what the truth is, not what you both say it is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Court is in recess.
All rise.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So here's the question. How do you deal with a friendship? I heard you say this happened to you just a second ago. Huh?
It happened to me. Yeah, it happened to me.
So you develop, or somebody develops feelings and the other person just wants to be friends. How do you deal with it?
So we were connected through work, so I told her we couldn't do anything because of work things, blah, blah. That was my excuse. I had an easy way.
Is that gonna work in the long run?
Yeah.
No, it's not. What do you say?
I would say it would be really tough.
You just have to end it?
I feel like probably the best thing would be to break it off.
Break it up, or you do try to maintain the friendship?
I say you got to rip the Band-Aid off and just try to end it right away.
So you have to say, sorry, you're a loser.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, got it. Going inside the courtroom.
All right. Have I got news for you guys? The money never got credited.
Right.
Just a second. Just a second. That doesn't exonerate you. Relax. All right. The money never got credited. So then we contacted the company that wrote the letter for you, right? And we said to them, listen, I know she said, well, I'm not gonna give you, you behaved very poorly. And it's not, listen, I understand.
It was confusing.
I know, but listen, it wasn't confusing. When those people are there, it's just regular old cat fest, okay? When they're there and they have the money and they're saying, let's just go on this trip, have fun and peace, you could have chosen peace. And you didn't choose peace. At that moment, she's no longer staying in your room. She's already separated herself. All you had to do was take the money from the travel agency, call your credit card company, or call whoever it is that you try to reverse it on your credit card, on your PayPal, whatever it is you try to reverse, and say to them, I changed my mind. I realize I did charge this, whatever. You could have fixed it that night and chosen peace, but you didn't. And then you went on your trip. And did you have a good time?
No, they humiliated me and embarrassed me the whole week.
What did you think was going to happen?
Exactly, and this is why I wanted to pull out. And when I discussed it with my bank, before I made any of these decisions, I discussed it with my bank. I discussed it with my credit card
Does it turn
company.
out to have been a good decision?
It wasn't a good decision, and unfortunately, bad choice of friends that I chose to be there for.
But also, even when we realize that to us we have picked somebody who's a bad friend, there is still two paths we can take. The one that just stops the snowball and brings peace, or the one where you one-up the person. And the one you picked, when the travel agents are in, Ultimate Soul Escape is in your home with money to give to you that would have concluded this whole thing, and then you just pick up the phone, you call the credit card company. That's all you had to do.
But ma'am, can I say one piece to that?
Whose fault is that? Just a second. Whose fault is it that she's out another $500? The $250, I do feel that you made a great decision, was worth every penny of it. All right? Where she decided, I want my own room, I'm not gonna deal with drama. All right. But the $500 that she gave you to the trip, she got charged again. It looks to me like somebody needs to get that from Ultimate Soul Escape. But I'm not gonna make her go get it, because you're the one who set all this in motion to where she would have to be charged, claiming that you reversed the charges and it's over and I'm not gonna do it. So you're gonna pay her that $500, and then I'm gonna give you the documentation where Soul Escape says we charged her, so that you have proof that they charged twice, and either your credit card company refunds you or Soul Escape refunds you. As for your counterclaim against her, pain and suffering, frankly, I think you brought your own pain and suffering on you. And as for the $674, you need to sue, unless they just do the right thing and pay you. They owe you that entire 1,000, whatever it was, what that figure is. The 500 plus the 674, 1,174. So on your counterclaim against her, $0, and on your claim against her, the $500, and of course your court costs. I'm sorry that it ended up this way, ladies, because I think everybody here, including me, and I wasn't invited, could have used a great trip to St. Martin with all your girlfriends to just rejuvenate and be happy. And you know, I am not surprised it ended up being uncomfortable for you. But you know, you really did make your own. You really did make. No, you made your own bet on this one.
Right. Too many people
at least
involved.
learn something for that for the next time. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I have.
Good luck, everybody.
So it turned out to be a pretty complicated case. The defendant, Octavia Locke, is on her way out of the courtroom. Obviously, you got very emotionally involved in here during the court case, but are you listening to what the judge says? You've
Yes,
got to follow
sir.
up now.
Yes,
okay?
sir. Will do.
Have you learned anything from this?
Huge lesson.
I bet it was. Quite a
Yes.
more. By the way, you said you're a motivational speaker, are you? How do
For women.
For what do you motivate them for what?
Self-confidence, building self-esteem, and I just
okay.
try to give love where some don't feel loved. And I tried it, and it's the reason why people, say what they say.
All right. Thank you very much. Sorry it worked out this way. Here comes the plaintiff, Ms. Smith. Obviously, you've learned something from all of this as well, I think, right?
Yes. Stay away from crazy people.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank
okay.
you.
Harvey, what do you have for us?
I hate to be harsh, Doug, but this question about what do, you just got to kind of end the friendship. It just is never going to work out. There's always going to be tension. It's just not worth it.